Hello, 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 and welcome to Effin' Fridays with Francine. Today, I am excited to have Joanne Homestead with me. Joanne is the founder of Desk Plant Creatives. She is an email copywriter, copy coach, and obsessed storyteller. She helps soulful entrepreneurs and coaches in wellness, well-being, and mindset to write open, worthy emails that get more engagement, clicks, and clients all through their 100% authentic writing voice. She is a mama of two little ones and loves a good cup of chai to fuel her creativity and passion for storytelling marketing. She's been featured on numerous podcasts, live episodes, and group trainings where she shares her expertise in brand storytelling, conversion copywriting, and how to get the most out of your email marketing endeavors with intentionally curated email sequences. You can find her most active biking and writing to her email community, Flourish, where she shares stories of all flavors. Joanne, I'm so excited to have this conversation. We've been talking for like 20 minutes before I even hit record. There was
Yeah.
so much juicy stuff before we even started. Welcome.
Thank you, Francine. I'm really excited to be here. And I guess we should have just
I
hit.
know we should have recorded. We were like having some really cool conversations, but we can dip into that a little
Yeah.
bit too. So share with the listeners your journey because I know, and I wanted to kind of talk about the struggles with this because I have a very similar journey, right? You went from a teacher to an entrepreneur. I went from corporate to an entrepreneur. But just share your journey, how you got to where you are and what lights you up and all the fun things to get people to
Yes,
know Joanne.
sure. So I was a teacher for 15 years, and I taught everything from kindergarten through fifth grade, except for fourth grade. Fourth grade eluded me, and that's totally fine. And for those 15 years, the last 5 years of that time was as a literacy specialist and like a literacy coach for teachers in like a dual language school. And then from that point, starting during the pandemic, is when I started my business. I learned about the whole online business world and it totally just blew my mind. I just didn't, I had no idea. I'm just in the education world. I've been a teacher
Sure.
for so long. I
Yeah.
tried leaving teaching a couple times before that point and failed because I went back into teaching, just because of the amount of just stress and all the things that come with being a teacher in a school system. But I just went back to it because that's what I knew and that's what I was
That's
doing.
what you do, right? Yeah.
What's that? Yeah,
And that's what you do.
that's totally what we do. And so when I learned about the online business world and then the lockdown happened, I told my husband, like, this is it. This is the sign. I'm going to start my own business. And so from there, that was 5 years ago now. And I think that's when you started
Yep.
your business as well. Your coaching
Yeah.
business was during that pandemic time. And so it's just been a wild entrepreneur ride for the last 5 years. But I I'm I'm so grateful to have this time. And it's not easy, but
Right.
that an understatement? It's not easy, but I have just learned so much about myself in that process. I know we're going to talk about that a bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a similar journey. I've probably shared a few times on the podcast, but I think there's some similarities. So probably eight eight years ago, I was laid off from a corporate job and I was like, this is my time to do my coaching full time because I've been a coach for 12-ish years. And I got a nice bonus to stay to the end. So I had a little bit of a cushion. And I realized I hated being home alone. I missed people. I led teams and there wasn't, you said you learned more about the online community during COVID. Like that 8 years ago, it wasn't as blown up as it is now. And then I was laid off in December of 2019. So again, it wasn't a choice for me, but I was laid off before COVID, and then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And in April of 2020, somebody was like, "Hey, you coaching?" And I was like, "Sure," because what the else am I doing besides painting my entire house, right? So like I started coaching, and but I was still looking for jobs because that's what you did. And but what I noticed was every time I had an interview, I could feel anxiety in my body. And every time I coached, I was like, "Oh, I love this." So similar, I said to my husband, I'm like, "All right, I think I have to do this coaching thing." But there was so many other people home too that it felt different this time around than it did 8 years ago when I was the only one home.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. Everyone was online.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. And we were talking before we got on, and I was sharing how, I'm having a conversation with my coach who I was like, wow, business has changed the last few years. And she's like, it really hasn't. She's like, just when you joined, everyone was home, everyone had more disposable income, right? So, like, it's just this is the real world now, right? So it's a little bit different than it was back. Are you noticing that as well from when you first started your business to today?
Totally. Yeah. When
Yeah.
you mentioned that before we hit record,
Hmm.
I definitely feel the same way. Like, so it's been 5 years, and I would say like this, especially this year and last year, just it was different, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really
This
interesting.
year was a little bit better for me than last year was, but
Mhm.
it still feels very different. We were just talking. So, one of the things Joanne does is she talked to me about this little assessment I just did. And my top value is nurturing. And for those of you that have been around a lot, you know that connections is a top value of mine. And while that is true in all areas of my life, I don't want that to be the driving force of like faking it till I make it to get business, right? Like I want authentic connections, not just because I want your business. And like that was an aha I had right before we went on. I was like, oh, that's why I struggle with the constantly being on social. Like I don't want people to think I'm reaching out just because I want your business. Like I truly love connecting
Mhm.
with people and I'd love to do business with you.
I am absolutely the same way with like
Yeah.
the nurture card. This is what Francine's talking about is the bank personality codes. And it just takes 90 seconds to crack your code. And it opens up a whole world of conversation, obviously, but also like understanding the way you work and the way you work in your business. So, yeah, the same with me because the nurture card is first. That means we really value the connections, but it's exactly what you said, like the word authentic,
Yeah.
because one of the values for nurturers is authenticity. That's a big one. It's not just connections and trying to connect with everyone. It's being authentic about it. So
Right.
I totally understand where you're coming with that
Yeah.
one.
It's interesting. So, I went from working in a corporate setting to being an entrepreneur, similar and different, but you went from being a teacher, which I'm thinking is a lot different than being an entrepreneur. So, what was that journey like?
Yeah, that it was so interesting. So when I first started my business, I had no idea what a copywriter was. I didn't even know what that was. All I
How
knew
did
about
you choose? Let's just start. How did you even choose that?
Yeah, that's because there's no one out there saying like, "I'm gonna be an email copywriter.
Right, right.
Wanna go with that." Just pick from a list.
Yeah.
Looks good. It looks fun.
Now, what is it? Now I have to figure out what it is.
So exactly. At the time, copyright to me was a little C with the circle. It had to be
Right.
legal,
Yes.
publishing and all that. And I had no idea what copywriting was. So when I first started my business, I started as a virtual assistant, and I did that intentionally and on purpose. One, because I wanted to know how clients ran their business behind the scenes, because I am coming as a teacher, and I was just really curious to know, like, how do you run a business?
Right.
And then second, also, I wanted to do all the things for them because I wanted to figure out what exactly it was I loved doing. And so I did all kinds of things. One of which was canceling my first client. her first task for me, and she was so hesitant about giving it to me. She's like, I don't know. I really shouldn't give this to you, Joanne. This is really unfair to you. Because she knew I just started and her
Yeah.
client, and I said, give it to me. Just give it to me. It's fine. I'll do it. And she said, I need you to cancel my Comcast business account. And it was very complicated and convoluted with, I'm not going to go into details, but
Yeah.
she she said, can you do this for me? I'm losing a lot of money on this because I'm not even able to use it. And I said, yeah, I'll do that. It took, I think, 2 full months to
Wow.
actually get it done. Actually, if you Google it, it's one of the more impossible tasks to do, which is why she said, I'm
So she
so
knew.
sorry. She started with, I'm so sorry. That's how she started talking about this task for me. I'm so sorry, Joanne. I was like, okay, it's okay. Just, you know.
Right, right.
So because because I did that actually, that was like I after I did that for her, I just like I had saved her like tens of thousands of dollars. I
Wow.
I was like pumping my fists in the air and going like, if I can do this, I can do anything.
I love that.
So it was kind of a nice like confidence booster for me entering into this business world. So anyhow, I started doing all the tasks, and for a lot of my clients, they just didn't really even know what they needed help with. They just knew they needed help. So they asked me what I would like to do, and I usually would say something around writing. I said, oh,
Mm.
I like writing. So I did blog writing, social media content, and then that first client that I had, she because I was able to do this impossible task for her, she asked if I wanted to choose one of her products. She did a art and wellness kits that
Okay.
that were mailed to you, and they were working with local artists, and it was really cool. And so I chose one of the art kits, and it was a terracotta clay kit, and you made your own coasters, and then they had the designs.
Oh,
And
that's
so
cool.
I like arts and crafty stuff. I like more drawing, but I it was really fun to like work with my hands. And so after I did the kit, she asked me how it was and if I would write a testimonial. So I wrote a testimonial, and she's just like, wow, like Joanna,
This was really
yeah,
good.
she's like, you don't even you're not talking about like you're not talking about, oh, I got this kit and I got this clay and I made a coaster. Like that
Right.
wasn't what it was about. It was about like, whoa, I like reconnected with my childhood self,
Mm.
digging in the soil looking for earthworms. I used to like doing
Yeah,
that in
yeah,
the
yeah.
backyard. And when I started molding that terracotta clay, that it just like brought me back to that moment. So I was talking about that moment. It was just a very genuine experience. Like I wasn't trying to write this to like
Right.
impress anyone. This was my genuine experience. And so from that testimonial, she said, I have I have a proposal, a proposition for you. Would you like to try writing an email campaign to
Mm.
my email community, my email list? And I said, sure. I knew nothing about email marketing.
Yeah.
I hadn't written an email campaign before.
Right.
Um, but what I do know is 15 years of knowing how to communicate and talk and knowing who you're talking to. Like this, I'm like, okay. So I wrote an email campaign for her, and she immediately got a response back, and she's like, no one ever responds to my emails. Literally, no one
Yeah.
ever. And you wrote this email, and someone immediately was like, this is the best email ever. Thank you for sending it. I'm gonna do the thing. And so that was where I thought, oh, this is interesting. I need to follow this thread. So I started writing emails more for her and then for two other clients too. One being in in wellness, and the other was in the professional organizing and kind of like the emotional mindset coaching space.
Okay.
And so I started writing emails for them, and it was like the same responses. And I loved doing it. Like I loved writing these emails. I think it like hit all the right combinations for me of what
Sure.
I loved about when I was teaching. and how to compel people in and give them those like mindset shifts or just seeing something in a different way, but also writing it from my client's personality and their voice and their stories. Like I'm not
Nice.
using my stories to write theirs.
Right. Well, I'm curious what had to shift in you, because that had to have been a little scary to just step out and be like, yeah, I'm going to do this thing now.
Mm.
And had you been doing some personal development work? Did this journey start that for you? What needed to shift inside of you to be able to make that pivot?
Yeah, that's a good question. So when I decided to pivot into copywriting, that was about 6 months after I had started.
Okay.
It's about what I was kind of planning for anyway, was to do the virtual assistant for like 3 to 6 months, see what sticks. So I pivoted, and so what I did was I just started really generally as
Okay.
a copywriter. So I did website copywriting, and I was like, no, this is is not the place for me. I did email, social media, and I decided from there, like, okay, I'm gonna really niche into email because it's really
Nice.
where I'm happy. But yes, that part to me, I think wasn't so scary. I think because I was still so new. And when you're just like for me, this is what happens to me when I'm like freshly new, you just don't know enough.
Right.
I'm like, if I knew everything I knew now, 5 years
I'm not
later,
sure I would have done this.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't have
Right.
started. But I'm so glad I started and I wouldn't choose anything else. But
Right.
in that like really fresh stage, you don't know a whole lot. And so for me, that was like, yeah, I was excited. It wasn't until after I started looking for clients for that, that's where I felt like the personal development came in. I have always been interested in personal development because, like, as a nurturer, my first card in the bank code,
Yeah.
one of our values is personal growth.
Mm.
So I was really into the Enneagram, before, like when I was a teacher.
Yeah.
Um, like the strengths finder. What else have it in it? The Myers-Briggs I did. um
Disc, all the ones that are out there.
all the
Right.
things.
Yeah.
And the Myers-Briggs one was funny because I was on a little road trip with my cousin in Texas, and we did the Myers-Briggs in the car together.
That'll pass some time.
At Paso, we only had 4 hours.
Yeah.
So
I actually use an assessment in my business, but what's different about it and why I love it is, all the ones you're talking about are like personality driven, and you can't change your personality.
mhm,
The one that I do is about your energy levels, which you do have control over, based on your response to situations, right? So there's seven
mhm,
levels of energy,
mhm,
and the assessment shows your energy level under stress and under every day. And I took it years apart, and my energy changed because of the personal development work I've done and the professional development work, and the inner work and all the things. Um my my energy shifts, right? I don't
yeah,
respond the same way that I did 5, 10 years ago.
yeah,
And I think assessments are such a fun tool because you get to have a better understanding of yourself. And in ones like the ELI, the energy, it's called Energy Leadership Index, you actually have an opportunity to be like, oh, I want to do that differently. And then you can actually see the results and it changes. It's fun.
yeah. Okay, yeah. I'm glad you went into like the assessment piece because as a teacher, like that's like where you start with. It's like,
Right,
let's start
right.
with an assessment and see where you're at. And I think the great thing about assessments is that one, you get to see like your strengths too. I think a lot of times with assessments, people think like they just focus on, oh, wah, wah. This is
Right,
where I'm,
right. This is what I need to fix. This is what's wrong
yeah,
with me. This is, yeah.
right. This is what's wrong with me. But I think if you come from like objectively, like, wow, you can notice and see what's going well, um, what your strengths are. And I think that's a really big piece of what I do in
And
my,
I think you have to be honest because
yes,
often we answer the questions on who we
true.
want to be.
Yes, that's so true. Especially when it comes to like one of those exercises where you have a whole list of values
Yep.
and you're supposed to pick which ones are yours.
Right,
You
right,
end up picking
right,
ones that aren't your value, but actually because you think, oh, I should have this value because
right. You choose that.
whatever.
Absolutely.
So that's so true. Like really being honest with yourself is important. We're going, I'm sorry.
I don't know. We were
My
just
train
talking
of
about
thought with the
assessment. It's all
assessment.
good. I'm curious, being a teacher, you have two young kids, right? You were probably in a lot of like, hustle and grind.
Mhm.
Um, did you experience burnout when you were teaching?
Oh, every year.
Yeah, okay. And
Basically.
so w- you've had to obviously do some work to come out of that burnout. How did burnout, first off, how did burnout show up for you?
Yeah.
And what did you learn about yourself as you were healing from that? I assume by now you've done some healing around that,
Yeah.
but what did you
Yeah.
learn about yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Basically, I was not aware.
Yeah, often when we're in it, we're not.
Yeah.
And
And so as a teacher, yeah, I burned out every year. And then that's why you have summer vacation and summer break for teachers so that you can feel like you can go back another year.
yeah.
And so when I started my business, I didn't realize I had brought all that into my business and
Mm,
then the like that hustle and grind. So in my second year of business, I had my second son.
okay.
So I
So your
had,
children are young.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they're young. And so I had my first son, who at the time was 3.5 years old. And then I had my business, which I count as a child.
Sure.
That was like a newborn,
Right.
only my second year. And then I had a newborn baby.
Yeah.
And I was really pushing it. I feel kind of like what you had said, what you could tell about me was like, I'm very much like the knowledge achiever, I think is
Yep,
what you
yep,
said.
yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was very much in that like high achieving, and I don't even consider I don't even identify myself as a high achiever. Um, Even though I am.
Right, right.
So I at the time, like right, I remember I was 8 months pregnant. I decided to join this group program, the 6 month group program.
Of course, why wouldn't you at
Sure,
eight
why
months
not?
pregnant,
I'm about to
right?
have a baby. This is a good time. But
Mm.
I felt like that was like, okay, this is going to be the right move for my business. I in the at the time I was the sole income maker for our family. So I was thinking, well, yeah, I gotta grow my business so that I
Right.
can financially support our family and our growing family. And so I remember before joining the program, I asked the the founder of the program, I said, I'm about to have a baby, and she was about to have a baby too, actually. And she said, I said, I don't know if this is the right time for me, but it seems like the great opportunity because they are just launching it for the first time. And so they're
Okay.
special deal. And she said, yeah, why not? Like, go for it.
Sure.
She's like, I'm about to do that. I'm like, okay. So I went ahead and started that. By the time I had my baby, he was 2 or 3 months. So it was still in the newborn phase. And that's when I crashed and burned
Mm,
because I was doing the program. I took some time off, but then I was wanting to get back in, and I was in the energy of just,
right.
yeah, I gotta get back in. I gotta do my work. I gotta make money. I gotta all that stuff. And so what the awareness was for me was I was teaching doing a workshop in someone else's coach's paid program.
Okay.
And afterwards, the group thing was done. It was just her and me. And she goes, like, how are you? Are you okay? And I just, the walls came down, the tears came out. I was basically just like tears. My face
Right.
was
Well,
so
because
wet.
you've been holding it in,
I
right?
had been holding it in, and I didn't even think to consider, like, am I okay, until she
Right.
asked me. That was like the first moment of awareness for me.
Well,
Um,
I think as women, we so often we wear multitasking as a badge of honor, and multitasking doesn't exist, right? We can't do multiple things, but we're constantly in the I have all this shit I have to do, and I
mhm,
can't stop.
mhm,
And I talk a lot about this with my clients, and I talk a lot about it on the podcast. Our addiction to busyness,
mhm,
right? And it's just another form of numbing, like alcohol, like drugs, like food.
yeah.
And at the underneath it all is usually about our worth, right? So if I'm not
Oh,
busy, I'm not worthy. So I got to
oh,
stay
totally.
busy to prove that I'm worthy,
Oh, absolutely. That
right?
was that was the beginning of that journey for me, was
Yeah,
realizing that I was connecting my worth with doing, like,
right,
my tasks and getting things done, even though the tasks, like, did they really need to get done?
right.
Priorities. Yeah. So that was definitely the moment for me where I realized, like, oh, I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I just told her, I was like, I got maybe 2 or 3 hours of sleep last night because the baby was not having the sleep thing last night. But I feel like I need to keep going. I need to keep working. I need to keep doing this thing.
And I'm curious, what's different for you now?
Well, a lot has been different. That kind of started my journey, and then I fell back into it last year, at the end of last year, when I joined this program that was just misaligned with me and my values and just the way I worked. I
The
found
one that you joined when you were 8 months pregnant? Oh,
No,
another program.
that,
Okay.
that was 4 years ago.
Okay.
So last year I joined it was a 12-month
Okay.
mastermind program, and it was misaligned, and
Yeah.
I ended up in that burnout again. And I remember vividly remember telling them, like, I'm afraid to fall back into, like, burnout again, because one,
Right.
I knew how many years of that I had done. And I was on that journey of, like, recovering and doing things differently, like working from being instead of doing. That was such, like, a novel concept to me.
Right.
Like, what are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. So I was in that practice of, like, working from that being versus doing. And they said, like, well, if you already gone through it, you know the signs. So if you know the
Not
signs,
necessary. Well, I think it shows up differently,
yes,
right? Like even myself, who I coach women around it, there are times where
yeah,
I'm like, ah, shit, here it is
right.
again, right? But because I
Right.
have made so many changes, it creeps in different ways.
Yes, total. And because I think when they said that to me, like, "Oh, you'll know the signs because you've got through." I said, "Oh, okay." And
You
guess
know
what?
what?
I didn't I didn't see
Right.
the
You know
signs.
what's different for me now too is I don't handle the busyness as well. So
Mm,
I feel a lot more overwhelm and anxiousness when I have a busy calendar.
yeah.
And like last week, for some reason, I just didn't have a ton of appointments, and it felt beautiful in my life because I was able to get some of the, admin stuff done. This week, I feel like I'm back to back, and I can feel the underlying anxiousness of all the things that I have to get done.
Yeah, because
Right. Because I
you
don't love that
recalibrate.
any like that
Yeah.
my body doesn't go at that speed anymore. I
Yeah,
can
you've
still do it.
recalibrated. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it feels different. I feel like that's kind of where I am now at
Yeah.
this point after recovering from that burnout. And the sign that I got from that one in the end, because I wasn't aware of it, was I ended up getting shingles at the beginning of this year in March. And that was the sign I realized, like, "Oh, wait a
Well,
minute."
because your body is like, "So you don't wanna pay attention.
Right.
We're gonna force it, because that
Yeah.
really is what happens, the mind bo body piece, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. My body was screaming, "No. Nope, no more.
Right.
Not doing this anymore." And that's when I realized, like, "Oh, wait a minute. I haven't been taking my lunch breaks. I haven't." I got into the hustle and grind again, and I was
Yeah,
coming from a place of, like, I need to do this. I need to do this. I need
right.
to make this
Just
work.
one
I
more call, just one
just
more
one
email,
more.
just one more thing, and then you're like,
Exactly.
"Alright, I wasn't that hungry anyways."
Exactly. Yeah, it's fine. I'll skip. I stopped, and I also stopped doing my workouts,
Yeah,
stopped having lunch, and it's just amazing how I didn't realize any of that until my body said, you can't go anymore at this point."
so what does self-care look like now for you, especially while juggling motherhood and entrepreneur both of your children at home, or are they in school, or are they at
One's in full-time school.
Okay,
The other is in like a very part-time school.
okay,
And my husband has been the main caretakers for the kids while
okay,
I'm working. And if
yeah,
when they were a little younger and not in school. But now that now that we both have a bit more time because they're more in school now, it's been a very interesting experiment, actually. So after I had shingles, I basically, for the summer, I said I'm going to work 3 days a week and take 2 full days off per week
mm,
because my body is telling me to. I need to do
right,
this. I need to do this thing. And I really enjoyed it. And I think because I was coming from a space of like, I want to recover, and I'm just gonna, it forced me to prioritize what I was
yeah,
doing in my business. And I also worked with a productivity coach who really helped me to just like prioritize self-care. Like,
right,
I have on my board now, it has my priority list, which I can put up to 3 things, usually it just has one. And I have a little column where it says important, like, okay, these are important things, but
yeah.
it's not a priority. And then I have a self-care on that board, which before, like, what? You don't put self-care on your your to
I'll take care of myself when I get shingles, not before.
exactly.
Well, it's interesting. A year ago I had knee replacements. 2 years ago I had my hip replaced, and last year I had my knee replaced. And my knee did not I actually went backwards in my healing, so my range of motion got less and less. So a month from when we're recording this, I don't know when this is going to drop, but in September, I had a procedure called a manipulation, which is they put me under and they bend the shit out of my knee essentially to break the scar tissue. So for the last 4 weeks, yeah, fun stuff. But for the last 4 weeks, I'm in PT again 3 times a week and I'm doing my exercises. And it's like, it actually isn't an option for me unless I want to get back to, like, I can finally walk downstairs for the first time in a year. I couldn't
Yeah.
do that 2 months ago, like a
Yeah.
normal person. Like, I was like
Yeah.
1 foot at a time, right? And it's
Hobble.
not pretty and it's not graceful, but like, I have to prioritize
Mhm.
myself in order for me to feel better, not as an afterthought, right? So
Yeah.
this morning I didn't want to get out of bed, but I was like, I got to do my exercise. I'm seeing the surgeon today. I got to go do my exercises and go do the things because, or we're sitting watching TV and I'm like, all right, I got to do my bends and I got to do my, because it's not an option because we only have one vessel.
Right?
Right? Like I could not do it and I could be limping for the rest of my life and not being able to walk downstairs.
Yeah.
But it isn't really an option.
That's what I realized. That's what I really realized this year. It's
Yeah.
not an like, self-care is not
It's
an
not
option.
optional. It's,
Not optional.
I often will say this to clients, and I said this once to a potential client. The whole you have to put the oxygen mask on you first
Yes.
before you put it on your children. I
Mhm.
said that to a woman once, and she was like, that pisses me off. And I was like, but if you're not taking care of yourself, you actually can't be there for your children.
Right.
Because in
Yeah.
her mind, she should put it on her children first.
Right.
But
That's very much like, yeah, that's like instinctual, like,
well, and
no,
what
I have to
messages
think.
are you teaching your children, right?
Right.
I've had
Right.
conversations with women who are breaking the cycle
Yeah.
of the churn and burn, right? That we were brought up with. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you, but like I sense that you had that same like
Oh,
work
very.
hard culture,
Oh,
right?
totally. Work hard.
And I don't have children, but like when our children see the parents doing it, they're gonna do it.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like, what if you just sat and, I interviewed somebody last week who said she realized like she wasn't present in talking to her children. Like she was
Yeah.
always on her phone doing work and her kids were like, whatever, whatever, whatever. And then she was like, what's happening? Right. So
Or
now
even
she
if you're
sits with
not
her
on your
kids.
phone, like in your mind, you're not
Oh,
present because you're thinking, oh, I need to send that email. Oh, I need to do this. Oh, like even that
right. Or I
thing.
have to be on social media. Like I've said to my husband, I'm like, my husband is not on Facebook. He likes his games, but I'm on Facebook more than I want to be. But I'm like, I go on to do something for work and then
Mhm.
get sucked down a rabbit hole. And then 20 minutes later, I'm like, I don't even know why I'm here.
Facebook says, check.
Right.
Got it.
And
Got it
then,
again.
10 minutes later, I remember why I wanted to be on there in the first place. And then I go down
Right.
the rabbit hole, right? I'm in this
Yo,
vicious
the big
cycle.
rabbit hole. Oh, before we move on, I was gonna say I used to have in my when I first started teaching, I used to have this big poster in my classroom. It had three little pictures. One was take care of yourself, and it's like hugging a heart for yourself. Then take care of others and take care of our world. And I remember another teacher had seen that and was like, please like take care of yourself first. And
Right.
said, well, the kids need to take care of themselves before they decide they're gonna, they gotta take care of themselves first, or else
Well,
they
and
take care of
here's the thing.
others.
I just had a conversation with a client recently around like self-worth and self-care and being in relationship with self, right? Like you can't be in relationship with others if you're not in relationship with self, right? So if I'm not taking care of me, then I can't take care of the we either,
Right. Oh, and
right? So
I have
it's
definitely
so
felt that.
important. What's that?
So I have definitely felt that. Like now I have, so you asked about like what's my like what do my days look like now?
Yeah.
Self-care. Basically, after the summer, I was inspired by this 3 days working, 2 days off. I'm still like now we're in fall. I'm still doing it.
Nice.
And so I'm working 3 days a week and then 2 days off. And one day I decided is I'm going to spend it with my 3.5-year-old because they just grow so fast. I
Right.
can see that. And I really want to have that one-on-one time with him. And he doesn't
Yeah.
get a whole lot of that because, he has a sibling who, you know, my older son obviously got that more from us
Right.
before his brother was born. And so
Of right.
that has been really sweet time with him. And then the second day off, I've decided I'm doing a personal day for myself to work on personal projects that I wanted to
Right.
do, like create another like family photo album that I've been meaning to do, and drawing and coloring and doing a workout, going to have lunch with a friend.
I love. How do you stay? And I'm choosing this word, and it's not a word that I love to use, but disciplined. Because I would imagine, being a business owner, there's certainly things you could be doing in your business. Like I actually am taking some time off over the next couple of days. A friend is going to be in town last minute, and so I my days were already busy, but I blocked off. Right, so she's coming tomorrow through Saturday,
Mhm.
and I'm only going to do the appointments that were already scheduled. So all my other stuff, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do it. And there's a part of me that's like, but it still has to get done, right? But I'm like,
Yep.
but I, I want to spend time with my friend, right?
Yeah.
So it takes some, there's always stuff to do in our business, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
how do you
totally.
stay disciplined week after week? I love that. I try to do Friday afternoons, or Fridays to me is like a catch up day, but
Yeah.
I don't book anything on Fridays. So
Mhm.
how do you stay disciplined with that?
Yeah, with the, like, taking the self-care piece of
Yeah,
it?
the 2 days,
Yeah,
because
right,
it would be
yeah.
easy. I'm sure you could find things to do in your business.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
The to-do list is endless. What has worked for me is having like figuring out some kind of accountability
Mm,
for myself. So if I have lunch with a friend, that's immediate accountability. Like, oh,
right.
I can't work because
Can't cancel. Yep.
yeah, I gotta go eat lunch with a friend. I have been taking advantage of our public library here. They have so many free events,
Oh, nice.
and all like sound baths, sound
I gotta go
meditation.
check out my library and see if they do
It's
things like
amazing.
that.
It's really amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they'd have all this sewing workshops. I went and I took this one and I sewed this little pocket apron thing. I was so proud of myself.
Oh, that's
I
so
made a
cool.
I made a autumnal wreath. Just so I've been using that too, because when I sign up for that, I know, oh, this is almost like it's like an appointment with myself. Like, oh,
Right.
I don't want to cancel that. I signed up, even though it's free. I'm like, oh, I want it, and it's something I really want to do. I like that arts and crafts stuff too.
I
So
love that.
that's been really helpful for me to say, like, okay, I'm really taking this time
Right.
to
Right.
do something for self-care.
What do you love most about your business today compared to when you started?
What I love most about my business, what I think is, and especially because I'm a nurturer and I love the connections, is working with my clients. I absolutely like that lights me up so much. That
Mm,
and writing emails, obviously.
right. Right.
Or for my own email community, like I love writing. It just lights me up. Working with my clients really lights me up because they're just like they're amazing and brilliant. And I one of my strengths finder top five strengths is maximizer. Like
Okay.
I love being able to help other people realize their potential. And so when I see that, I get so excited. But also because it's it's pretty intimate what I do with storytelling, and a lot of things
Sure.
come out of that. And so being able to hear about their stories and then take that and bring in that creativity piece and helping them see like how their stories can really help them connect with other people who they
I
really
love that.
connect with and engage with, and like just being able to celebrate all their wins along the way.
Nice. I
That's
always love to ask a question around busyness because most of the women I work with are addicted to busyness. So, what is your favorite way to create stillness or clarity when everything feels urgent?
okay. I have gotten into breathing. Um,
Oh, breathing. I thought you said grieving. I was like, what? Oh,
breathing.
breathing. Okay.
So into grieving. No. Breath work. I have had to do a lot of that this year with a 3-year-old.
I would
So
imagine.
much breathing. And I told my therapist, I said, "Wha- it's astounding to me how often I need to return to my breathing every day."
Well, and it's so simple and yet something we forget, right? I
Yes.
start almost all of my coaching sessions
Mhm,
just having my clients get grounded and centered just
mhm.
because we do forget to breathe and it does make such a
It
difference.
makes a huge difference. And I think for myself, I feel like I've had a lot of resistance towards like take a deep breath. I think because
Right.
when I was a teacher, I just had so many things to do and we
I don't have time for this.
time is then we'd have these weekly faculty meetings and I said this could all be in an email. We don't have
Right.
to be here. I don't need this training because I'm way past this.
Yeah.
And uh for there were like 5 years where there was a coach, the instructional coach there, and she would always start with breathing. And I was so
Mm.
resistant to it. I said, I do not have time to breathe.
Well, because what it does is it connects us to our body. And for those of us like you and I who live up here from our neck up, it's like, no, then
Mm.
I have to feel shit. I don't want to
Yeah,
feel anything. Danger, danger, right? So you
put
have
that
to
under a
actually
rug.
You have to practice that you're safe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always love to end with, we could talk forever, but what is one thing that you live by that you want to share with the listeners?
What's coming to me right now is like that authenticity piece, like
Mm,
being ourselves and knowing that it's a journey and there is no end. There's no like end achievement goal.
right.
Like it's always a process. And for someone who likes to achieve and like, yeah, get the thing done and check it off and, move on, that I think that for me has been something kind of near and dear to me right now.
Okay.
It's like leaning more into that authenticity piece, which is
Mm,
what I help my clients with. But for myself, I will just hide. I'm gonna go in my hermit shell. I'm not gonna hide
right.
anymore.
And tell people how they can work with you. We'll put all your information in the show notes, but just briefly, let them know how to where to find you, how they can work with you, all the good things.
Yeah, so you can go to my website, which is my business name, Desk Plant Creatives. So the website is deskplantcreatives.com. You can get to know me there. You can join my email community and grab my free email storytelling guide there, which is like a go-to reference guide. It has it's 7 types of hooks and 15 plus like segues, how to segue from the story to talking about your business. And then 25 plus like story prompts as well. So it's like one of
Beautiful.
those guides that you're not gonna just like let sit in your computer, but you actually go back and reference it.
And use it.
So you can find that
Beautiful.
on my website too. And then I have been hosting these 2-day live events, which has been really fun. If you want to join me there, you can also find that on my website.
Okay.
If you're looking to, if you are a small business owner and a personal brand, and you're like really tired of talking to a brick wall, and you really want that like that engagement through the authenticity and connection piece, through your email campaigns and email newsletters and your email sequences. So yeah, I would definitely say join me at the 2-day live event. And I've also I haven't shared this before because I just started doing this, but I have these free co-working sessions that I've started on Mondays. And I started it selfishly for myself because I needed that
I
accountability.
ran one for a couple of years and it was selfish. I just ended it, but
Yeah.
I ran it like through COVID up until
Oh
just
wow.
the summer. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was small. It was just a small group. I
Yeah.
didn't really
Mhm.
advertise. If I
Yeah.
bumped into people, I'd be like, hey, you can do it.
Totally.
But I
It's
started
the same
noticing I
way.
kept having conflicts, but I loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same way. And for
Yeah.
me, it was really about like being a good steward of my time because I'm taking 2 days off and working 3 days. I really need to like use my time really
Right.
wisely and not just try and tweak things to infinity and not finish the thing.
Yep.
So it's like a reward system for me. We work and then I get to connect and talk to people, which I really
Yeah.
love doing. And so yeah, I'm sure for you it was like a very similar,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. The accountability was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you would like to join that, I do not have any kind of official sign up
Okay.
page, anything for that, but you can email me, Joanne at deskplantcreatives.com. That's Joanne, Joanne
Perfect.
at deskplantcreatives.com.
Okay.
If you want to join the co-working session, we can get on a connection call and we can see if, if
If it's a
you got
fit.
the vibe.
Joanne, thank you so much for being here today. This has been such a fun conversation. We weren't really sure where this conversation was going to go. And I
Yeah.
love, just talking about your entrepreneurial journey. And I hope it has inspired some of the women listening today. So thank you so
Yeah.
much. It's been a fun conversation.
Thank you, Francine.